Who may have not seen me or known me before, I'm the executive chairman of Dubai Multi-Commodity Center. I'm the former vice chair of the Dubai Diamond Exchange. I'm a director currently at Dubai Diamond Exchange. I am the chairman of Dubai Diamond Gold and Commodities Exchange. That's an interesting exchange, which I'm happy to take any questions. This is an interesting and momentous date for us today. Today is the first launch of Dubai Gold and Commodities Exchange of the plastics future. A risky contract, a contract that failed in London Metals Exchange. And we took the risk and we're going to push forward. And when DGCX launches a contract, we make sure the market makers are in place, demand is there before we even think about it. We triple check. So we'll be following the plastic futures, in addition to our leading contract, the Indian Rupee future, which is the first one to be listed in the world before even Indian future contract. There was only Indian Rupee forwards in Singapore. I will do my best to give some background about DMCC. Dubai Multi-Commodity Center, or at that time it was called Dubai Metals and Commodities Center, was an initiative that everyone shied away from. And I don't blame them. If I was there with this experience and I had to go through what I had to go through, and someone tells me, here's a barren land, almost an hour away or 40 minutes away from the gold souk, and we'd like you to work with the team to establish a commodities center with gold as the benchmark, gold refining. If I had the connection and network I have today, I might say, no, I'm happy in the hotel business or property business or whatever. I wouldn't go with it. Even today, I would say no. See, His Highness took a risk, even though this initiative failed so many times before, failed so many times after, with people trying to emulate what DMCC has achieved. His Highness took a risk. He also took a risk in having me in the team. We were not more than 5 prior to the announcement of Dubai Multi-Commodities Center, at that time Dubai Metals and Commodities Center. We were board directors who traveled around the world, looked at different industries, whether it's industrial, whether it's trade, whether it's JCK show in Vegas. We left nothing to chance, and we took what can work for Dubai and what are the gaps in Dubai, what are the priorities. I'm now wondering why I'm holding this paper, because I'm not reading from it. This is all prior to the announcement, about 7 months or so. And yes, the Lakers won their second championship when I was in JCK show. I was watching it in, I think, Venetian. They had a big show in the Venetian Hotel. And I met the late Tawfiq Farah, who used to head the diamond department. Tawfiq Farah is the man with the concept of Dubai Cut Diamond, which is exclusively now promoted through Amit Damani Jewelry. The diamond has no history. These diamonds have no history of conflict or blood because it's produced in Yakutia, Russia. That's why I recognize the mine behind when it was showed in the picture. It's manufactured by Smolensk, in Smolensk by Cristal, the second largest manufacturer in the world. But we had to Arabize it. How did we do that? By having 99 facets on the diamond, which is inspired by the 99 names of Allah from the Quran. That's the Dubai Cut Diamond. Tawfiq Farah played a huge role in that. In fact, it was his concept. And he passed away, I believe, about 8 months ago in Johannesburg. We leave nothing to chance. A big opportunity, a small opportunity, a sentimental opportunity. We look at Dubai as a map for the commodities industry, and we leave nothing to chance. If it's available in the market, we won't touch it. If the market needs more diamond financing, we work with the local banks. We try to work things out. Has nothing to do with the recession. The diamond financing was facing challenges way before the credit crunch even started. But as the credit crunch started, people made jokes about ABN AMRO, saying that the purchase being sold to RBS, can't recall the other bank that bought it, RBS and Fortis. the amount that was sold for, and after the recession, everybody's smart, I guess, when they look back at history. This should have been done, and that should have been. Well, where were you when this is happening? In any case, they were saying that amount they could have bought, what, 4 American car dealerships, 3 baseball clubs, and it goes on. I think if anyone is in the BlackBerry community would have seen these jokes. In any case, ABN AMRO seems to be back. Antwerp Diamond is there, still around. And the challenges they face has nothing to do with the business. It has to do more with the European winters, which I'm not entitled to talk about very much, but if you read the papers and see what's going on, you'll probably know more than I do. Because we live in a different era where the Western media don't cover the media. We all cover the media, tweets, social media, alternative media. Even Africa, Zimbabwe, they all have their own papers. They all have, and their voices are heard. People would like to get sources from different areas, and guess what? They draw their own conclusion. Talking about the journey. So where did we start? It was a small, I think 3 desks in the main base of the customs building. Didn't last very long because His Highness wasn't happy about that. So we moved to what was called Kinda House, today known as Al-Attar Business Tower. We had a full floor there. We moved to the 4th floor of Emirates Tower to be close to Dubai World, as we were incubated by them, not part of Dubai World. It is a free zone that would stand alone. It is a free zone that I wouldn't compare it to the IFC, but it's independent just as the IFC is. But we fall under the federal government. The exchanges under the regulator, Golden Commodities Exchange is regulated under ESCA, Emirates Security and Commodities Authority. And to be honest with you, that's the best thing we've done, because the speed they move at is phenomenal, and the speed we move at is pretty much synchronized with their speed. And without them, there wouldn't have been currency pairs on Dubai Golden Commodities Exchange. Without them, plastics would have not been launched today. And this is not to bash DFSA, but their response, we applied to both. And ESCA said, we'll see you next week. DFSA said, we will read your letter in 6 months. So you tell me who to pick. And actually, I was happy that that's the response, because it makes you wonder, if we do go with them, what else will come up? But that was the old DFSA. I'm sure things have changed. I think they've had 3 to 5 management changes since they've been established. Going forward, subject at hand here, and I'm sure the MC has a lot of questions while I'm talking here and probably writing notes. I promised to make this short, so I'll try to fast forward. We seeded a number of initiatives. We seeded the Dubai Tea Trading Center, and some small media that know something, or the few that care about writing about tea, said Dubai will take away Mombasa as the tea hub. Less than a year, Kenyan Tea Trading Authority became a member of the Dubai Tea Trading Center. First few shipments, people were laughing at the shipments. They're too small. Just as they were laughing when His Highness announced that in a short time, Dubai will have around 50% of gold coming through it. Well, guess what? More than 25% of gold comes through Dubai, and DMCC plays a huge role. And this is not, and we have not seen anything yet, as Kaluti is building the largest gold refinery, and that's not yet built. There is Emirates Gold Refinery, there's Al Ghareer Giga Gold Refinery, and a few others that are operational around the UAE and in DMCC. We've launched the UAE gold bullion coins. There is no modern Arab country that has its own gold bullion coin, and the central bank today, as of today, are studying in ways of making that a legal tender. The image is, of course, His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the president of UAE, with the back, and that at the back is Burj Khalifa. Now, the story behind that is that I couldn't get this done, because we couldn't get one image that encompasses the UAE until A'mar announced the rebranding of Burj Dubai to Burj Khalifa, and within that night or the next night, I patented the concept of the gold bullion coin with the image and all that. So that's the speed I move in. I was happy for the announcement, but I was even happier that they named it Burj Khalifa, because nothing says UAE and named after the president, and it's the tallest tower in the world. So that's how it started. The second one is His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President, Prime Minister of UAE, ruler of Dubai, with the palm on the other side, because the palm has multiple icons in it, monuments. You have the, which shouldn't happen, but you have Atlantis. Saul Kerzner does not repeat any miracle project. That's his rule. But what he told my father when they met in Royal Mirage, that he checks out all his hotels, Saul Kerzner. And my father said, Sheikh Mohammed and Dubai are building an island, and we'd like you to be part of it. And we really like your Atlantis concept. And Saul said, well, I don't repeat projects. If you look at all of his projects, it's one time. Everything is one time. I guess it's a philosophy he has. But he said, you know what? If this mad project does happen, I will bring you Atlantis. And what happened was, not only he constructed Atlantis, he had the rooms and some of the toilets already built before the Atlantis were built, and he plugged them in. That's how efficient Saul Kerzner is when it comes to construction. And efficiency is a key word when I'll be talking about the expansion and the world tallest office tower, which will have an interesting impact on the economy of UAE, as DMCC is doing today. The expansion will have more office space than the World Trade Center and DIFC put together. And I am assuming more business than the DIFC and World Trade Center put together as well. Yes, it's a very challenging statement, and I don't think I'll get hate mails. I expect them to raise the level of competition, and the more competition there is, it breeds more quality. That's what we want from Dubai. Coming back to the experience and the learning curve of building over 66 towers, and when it's all said and done, before the expansion, mind you, it would be, I believe, around 80 towers or so. There's nothing that's missing within that community, from a multi-use park with an amphitheater that's welcomed by all of the companies and the people who live and reside in JLT. In fact, there are people driving from Ras Al Khaimah all the way to JLT. Reason being, a lot of the F&B and retails are new. They get to see the real Dubai. They don't get to see the franchises that they see everywhere else. So they feel they're in a different environment. Doesn't matter whether it's summer or not. We announced recently the construction of Uthman bin Affan Radiallahu Anhu Mosque, and it will be inspired with the Umayyad Andalusian design. And I've been to Spain recently, and I found out that one of my in-laws built an Andalusian mosque in Morocco. He could have saved me the time. But we're getting, the Umayyad dynasty ruled most of the old world in the heydays. So their marks are all over, from the borders of China all the way to, I think the closest they got was 60 kilometers to Paris. So in any case, we have a lot of mosques that we can look at. One of the things I'm talking about the mosque, but there's a part of efficiency in that mosque. There will not be one pillar inside that mosque. The balance will be within the walls. Even for the women's prayer area on top, there will be a wall that separates the majority of prayers and the people who pray at the back from our prayers and all that. So you will not see one pillar. It's not needed. These pillars maybe in the old days were required for reinforcement and all that, but we're approaching 2014. For goodness sake, we don't need those pillars. It's one floor, not 50 floors. It's going to be efficient, and Awqaf wants it to be, and I'm supporting that to be a green mosque, a self-sustainable mosque. And I'm so bullish about that mosque that I was honored to be the first donor of 1 million dirhams to the Uthman bin Affan Mosque. That's how much I care about the community of Jumeirah Lake Towers. That's how much I like it to be a complete package. By the year end, I think I mentioned we're approaching 8,000 companies. I'll touch on the expansion a little bit more. It's 1,700 square meters. It will add 50% more of commercial space. The existing is 743 and 224 square meters. That's what it is to the existing 2.9 million square meters of built-up area. World Tallest Tower will make these numbers, I guess. We're also going to start construction on JLT1, probably one of the widest buildings you'll see. Every floor plate is so wide that people can put in a lot of businesses in that area. And this is not a show. We didn't work that way. Our best years started from the recession onwards, as the MC mentioned, and we'll explain why. when he asked the question as well. I'd like to keep some questions for him. Uh, but it's more to do with demand than anything else, and sometimes preempting the coming demand. I mean, if you can preempt the coming demand, that's a tool that not many have, and we notice that as we progress. I mentioned the tea. A few years ago, the re-export of tea from Dubai, and when we say re-export, it's distribution as a hub, became the second largest in the world. In the last 2 years, and even today, it's the #1 in the world. As far as diamonds are concerned, this is untapped market for diamond industry, and I had to work with the customs to lift the duty and provide also in cooperation with the Ministry of Economy during Sheikh Fahim al-Qasimi time, later on Sheikh al-Lubna, and now al-Mansouri. So His Excellency al-Mansouri. That was also established. These two key things were important, aside from marketing, aside from providing the tallest office tower in the Middle East, which got sold out to end users in a matter of few hours. Now, as much as this was successful, it costed a lot of other people some jobs in other property areas. Two of the biggest property tycoons in Dubai had to restructure because they had enough of excuses. How could DMCC, with no background, sell off the tallest office tower to end users through an Oracle system? And while we're getting forecasts of 6 months, you're telling us forecasts of 6 months, 12 months, and if CBRE are around here, I'm going to say it, I don't care. CBRE said you'd be lucky if you sell 20% in 1 week. I didn't see their face for about years into it. I think the management changed a few times, and then they came back to Almas, and we're in discussion with all the experts. I listen to everyone. People who have background, don't have background, we draw our own conclusion. Why am I bullish about the expansion? When Almas Tower was sold out to end users in a matter of few hours, and mind you, the Gold Tower was sold out the next day. Silver Tower, we purposely slowed down. We were much more selective, even though these companies fit the criteria of commodity and diamond business and jewelry businesses. Why am I bullish about the expansion? Very simple. When the Almas Tower was sold out to end users in a matter of few hours, we were only 400 members. Can you imagine when we pass over 8,000 or 9,000 companies, what kind of promotion, what kind of reach we have? And that's without traveling the world, without promoting the world. Because Dubai is a hub and not even Silk Route. Silk Route is what it used to be. Now it's more of a spider web, electronic one, I guess. I think I should leave some things to the MC. I'm right. I'm annoying him a little bit so he doesn't go easy on me. He likes me too much. As of today, more than 25% of gold comes through Dubai. I know for a fact that number will increase for many reasons. The Dubai is amongst the top 3. And when I say amongst the top 3, almost neck to neck with Antwerp and Mumbai and New York. So, you know, if you're talking about production, yes, Mumbai is the #1. But if you're talking about trade, we're up there with the top 2. The location, you could have the best location, but if you don't have the will and the need to go after what is required, you don't want to go the extra mile, work the extra hours, go sleepless nights. What's going to differentiate you? We used to have an old saying before I even went to college, is that for Dubai to make a difference, it has to work 10 times harder than the rest of the world, put 10 times the effort, 10 times the project. And actually it's all paid off. And these are things as a kid embedded in me. I think it's important that to understand what does DMCC benchmarks itself to? Well, it's Hong Kong and Singapore, simply put. They know when they want something, they go after it and they get it done, especially Singapore. There are 2 main airports. That one is operational and it got expanded 3 times, and then you have Dubai World Central. You have Jebel Ali Port and DP World, that's all around. Emirates Group, that with Emirates Airline landing in every continent. So air freight and freight by sea, if those 2 were not as active, as big as they are, DMCC would not look like it is today. So really, without them, we would look completely different than we are today. So I have to take my hats off to them. Uh, Logistic capabilities in Dubai is phenomenal, and I know Dubai is very hungry for more businesses, more landing rights. To mention some of the top companies in DMCC, some are in Al Mas, some are not. I can tell you Harley Davidson, for some reason, refused to go anywhere except Al Mas Tower. And I had to make sure it's Harley Davidson, the corporate, not Harley Davidson, the gangster club. So their office looks like a Google or a Yahoo office, so it's a bit funky, but they're pros, and they all come to work in Harleys for some reason. We have a few companies. Some actually I haven't seen. I think it's, or I maybe forgot. We have Clarkson, Lewis Dreyfus, De Beers, Daimdel. No one expected that. And for De Beers, it's a bit of a challenge to move into DMCC. They moved in about 3 years ago or so, and it took them 6 months to make that decision. And we asked them, why did you come? Why now? They said, most of our site holders are in Al Mas Tower, so it would be dumb not to be in Al Mas Tower where all the site holders and their services are for site holders and non-site holders, as long as they fit the criteria that De Beers has. ConocoPhillips is one of our members, Rio Tinto, Alcan, LVMH, Notilka Danone, and a few others, even Delta. I thought Delta was a name copying Delta Airways. When I said, why do you take their name? They said, no, we're Delta and we focus on faucets and shower and material. And actually the airline took our name. I said, okay, whatever you say. It's just that I felt the airline had the thing, but apparently the faucet sides and all that went well. Rajal Girg came to the opening with me in that building. We also have the world's tallest Swiss tower in the world. Why do I say that? Because it's filled with Swiss entities. The Swiss Business Council, and I hear that they're close to closing the deal with the consulate. I'm not sure how much they've got into that. But actually, that's the tallest Swiss tower in the world, in Jumeirah Lakes Tower. So the people who are in JLT are people who want to make their mark, whether it be design, height, and all that. The rest, I think I should leave to the MC to grill me on. Yeah, these are points that the MC is ready for. So I'll leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you very much for bearing with me.